Hello, good day to everyone. I welcome you to the another episode on Moldflow's tips and workflow. As promised, we are going to start with a series of what's new in Autodesk Moldflow 2023. My name is Sachin Pusundar. I am a simulation specialist, part of the advanced manufacturing group at Autodesk. So with that introduction, let's get begin. Three areas particularly I would be focusing in series of these episodes: market impact, productivity and workflow, and technology leadership and accuracy. We start with a bit on to the easier to manage and install and a new offering. That would be what I would be covering into the first episode, and into the latter episode we would be looking into the productivity and workflow enhancement, some of the new capabilities added on it, and technology and leadership. In that case, we would be looking into the some of the improvement into the accuracy, existing workflows, and so on and so forth. So with that, let's get started with the first and foremost thing is on to the installation part. How do you get an access to the Autodesk Moldflow 2023 release? If you are already an existing active subscription customers, you can log into the Autodesk account, that is manage.autodesk.com or accounts.autodesk.com, and probably you would land up onto the page that you see on your screen. Probably sometimes you would find it a little difficult to look for your product. If you find it difficult, I would recommend switching into the classic GUI, which will just get you back to the earlier or last year's interface. But I would recommend that looking into the classic or the new GUI. It's more clean and so forth. And with this release particularly, we are trying to address some of the issues or the problems that was very frequently occurred by the IT personnel, and I have been observing and hearing from our partner ecosystem as well as the customers that many a times the IT person installs only one portion of the installer. Say suppose if you've been asked to install Moldflow, probably he would install a Moldflow Synergy, and probably Moldflow Solver has been not installed or it's been left out to install. So with that, the solution to this problem is been fixed in this release. What we have done, or the development team has done, is that we have combined the Synergy as well as all of the components, that is solver, communicator, and whatever that offering comes from the as a Moldflow solution into a single installer. So you do have options to check out those components you don't need it, or only install those components you needed for it. And the installation is much faster as compared to the earlier release. So what this installation is comprised of: Moldflow Insight will comprise of the 4 components, that is Synergy, Insight, Alias PFA, MF Communicator, and the Moldflow Insight for the Linux as well. So you do have options to check in or check out, or whichever the installations you don't need to opt for it. Same is for the advisor. It comprises of a single installer for the advisor Premium, Ultimate, and Communicator. and for data fitting, and as well as for the communicator. So as in Moldflow Insight user, at the time of installations, probably you can go and opt for a single Insight solver installer. That is the ultimate one, and later you can configure as per the licensing that you have it as a standard, premium, or ultimate. I'll take you through the next steps into the coming slides. And this is what I was referring it to. When you are doing the installation, you do have options to what things to be installed, but it is a single installer, so your IT team or the IT personnel now never been missed out of installing those components. As I referring to the how do we go and configure the licensing part, the licensing configuration tool, particularly this activity has to be done manually, and I would recommend doing it. The configuration file would be found into your program file, Autodesk Moldflow Synergy 2023 bin and mcl.exe. As you know that you can opt for the network license, which most of the active subscription users would have it. I will come and back to the what is a user license, as we refer it as a named user license. But this is what you need to, as an existing customer, probably check in for the network license. Whatever the Insight solution that you have it could be a standard, premium, and ultimate. You have to drop down and check it for it. Enter your license server details or from the server from where the license is being hosted out of. Enter that, whether it's a single license or a redundant license, you can opt for it. And with that 2020 release, we have also introduced a new dialog that you will be able to see. Sign in with your Autodesk ID. This is referring to the named user license. As you know that other Autodesk products, like for example AutoCAD or any of the Autodesk CFD, they've already been migrated to the named user license, and with this release we are introducing a named user license but as an existing customer you can always opt for the network license and refer to my earlier slides to configure it. For the installations particularly, you don't need to go and use the uninstall tool. We are no longer using the Autodesk install tool for the 2020 release, so we will not define the product in that as well. So go with the standard Windows uninstallations or the add and remove program found under the settings. So with that comes to the first part of our episode of the introduction of the new named user or named user license type. That's what I like to refer it for. So here are a very high level of comparison and concept explanations, particularly for how we are using our existing solutions today, and probably what would be the named user licensing would be. So as you can see that the traditional approach that we share the licensings many a times, like license is put onto the central server and then the users has been used to work on it. This is how we do it. If I have like a 3 synergy license that gets pulled for the 3 users, whoever comes first gets the opportunity and pulls in the license on this. Probably there was a little missing thing in this was the personal touch. Probably the license was not something that was very focused to the users. And with the introduction of the named user license, the user specific offering has been put in over here. Now it's more like the user has a better control on it. Whenever he comes, he logs in and gets the license to it. Probably those are no more chasing movement of like who will get the license. Whoever comes the first probably gets the license, and probably the power user, if it is been late or so, he may not get the license. So with the named user license, we are now focusing more on to the user specific licensing or the user driven licensing. So named user for the Moldflow, we have come up with the two offerings. One is for the Moldflow Insight. Just the product name is called Moldflow Insight named user, or it would be also be referred as a Moldflow Insight Cloud named user. So what this product comprise of a GUI that is called as a Synergy, Insight Ultimate Bundle, that's the topmost and all that Autodesk Moldflow has to offer in terms of the capability. Along with that, you'll also get access to the Helios PFA, so that is a seamless data exchange between a Moldflow and the structural CE solutions like Autodesk Nastran and ANSYS. Also with that, you'll get an access to the Fusion 360 subscription. So for the Moldflow Advisor, you get an access to the Advisor Ultimate, Fusion 360, and the best part is that you also get an access to the Fusion SIM extensions. If you refer to my earlier videos onto the SIM extension, now the Advisor user not only gets the ultimate functionality but also get an access to the Fusion SIM extension. So probably he can do upfront simulations very quickly using the simulation extensions, and a little detail or the engineers level simulation using the Advisor Ultimate capability that comprise of the field pack, pool and warp analysis. I'm very delighted to say that the Insight user now would get an access to the topmost capabilities that comprise of the gas assist, microcellular, birefringence, compression molding, or the CBA type of processes gets into the ultimate bundle. So this is what I put it into the slide. Advisor, probably the named user advisor, or we refer it as a Fusion Moldflow Advisor named user. This is the product is referred as, will comprise of all of the ultimate capabilities, as you can see. With that, additionally, you also get an access to the Fusion 360 simulation extension. Okay, well, the traditional products still remain in parallel with this one. So these are the multi-user product. I already shown the comparison between a multi-user product and to the named user product. These are very specific to the user, getting a personalized experience to him. And with the Autodesk Moldflow Insight packaging comparison, again I mentioned that the multi-user product still remains, but we have introduced the Insight Moldflow Insight Cloud, that is, or we also call as a Moldflow Insight named user. That gets again 3 solvers as previous as the ultimate bundle. Along with that, we also get an access to the Synergy as well. And of course, the one thing that again differentiate is the access to the Helios PFA. If you open a traditional user, probably if you need to exchange the data between a Moldflow and to the Autodesk Nastran or ANSYS, you may need to opt for a Helios PFA separately. But with the Moldflow Insight Cloud named user, not only get an access to the 3 solvers, but also gets an access to the Helios PFA. So this is how the whole of the packaging would look like. Get an access to the Synergy GUI with the ultimate license. Moldflow Insight Cloud 2023 would comprise of a Synergy user interface and Moldflow Insight Ultimate with the solution of capabilities of the 3 solvers as that of the previous. There is no compromise into the productivity So I would say that it's a win-win situation for both as an user as well as for the Autodesk as well. And with the Helios PFA, of course, you get an access to the data exchange between Autodesk Nastran and ANSYS. So how does this works? Named user. A little background on that. Probably if you opt for the named user license, which is available now, the licensing would be referring or residing onto the cloud. So probably, how do I go and access this? Is that you log into the account and get an access to your licensing. And the administrator for whoever is the administrator for within your organizations can also distribute the licensing or the products. Basically, if you are having a multiple licenses of the Autodesk, the administrator can decide that where to grant the access and how to grant the access to the which of the product. So I'll not get into the details of it, but I know that many of the people are curious on that. How does it look like? We want to reconfirm that there is no compromise in terms of the productivity. So we still continue to work within co-currency services. What does it mean? That if you opt for the Moldflow Insight Solver, you will still be able to use a 3 co-current solves. That's what you've been using it. If you opt for the Insight Premium or Ultimate, you'll get an access to it. With the Synergy, of course, it's a user interface. It's with one licensing at one machine at a time. And with the Advisor, co-currency is of course 1, but there is no limit on to the solving actually. So you can continue to solve multiple runs on a single machine as you've been doing with a multi-user licensing. Synergy, you continue to open the same windows as multiple windows on the same machine as you've been doing it earlier. There is no change in that. The only thing is that I remember that if I would have a single license of Synergy and if I'm working on a machine A, if my colleague tried to open the Synergy on machine B, he would get an error on this actually. Now instead of getting an error, probably you will get a notifications that hey, the Synergy is already been opened on machine A. Do you want to close and open it onto the machine B? So this is what the a new pop-up will come up and model will be auto saved onto the machine A, and you can open your Synergy on machine B on this. So there is no limit on number of installations you can continue, but single license of course will work with one user. If you're having a one Synergy assigned to your name, of course the same login has to be done onto the machine B, then only you'll get the notification. So up to 3 analysis per users, and they continue to work as that of the previous. There is no change in the way you can run the 3 analysis on a single machine or 2 analysis on a second machine in the network, or completely distribute your analysis onto the multiple machines that you've been doing it earlier. And we continue to support for the Windows, Linux, as well as the PCB clusters as we've been doing it earlier. So pretty much that's what I have to brief you regarding the introduction of the named user licensing with the release of 2023. With the existing users, they will still get an access to the license as with the file. You just need to create a new license file as you've been creating for the earlier version, and continue to use the product. But I'm happy to say that with the release of 2023, I'm getting an access to the ultimate capabilities with the name, and I will be having a much personalized experience as this license would be name to my name actually in that. I hope you like that this episode, and I will come back to you with a new episode of with the capabilities in the forthcoming weeks. And thank you for your time, and take care.